All right, so you should have gone to Google Classroom and opened up this Unit 8 notebook. We're going to go through that today. First, on your warm-up, I want you to take a minute and tell me what you know about this graph on the left. Anything, just type it in and let me know. So pause the video while you work on that. All right, next, I want you to take some time to go through this Quizlet and get familiar with the vocabulary that's in this unit. Practice it, review it, do the flashcards, play the game, whichever method works for you on Quizlet. So take some time and get to know the vocabulary. So go ahead and pause the video. All right, so let's talk about some of this vocabulary and how we use it in this unit. So we're going to be given graphs. So right here on the left, this is what our graphs will look like in Unit 8 because we're using quadratic functions. Quadratic functions means you have an x squared. You're not going to have anything higher than a squared, but you have to have an x squared. When that happens and you graph it, you get this shape. It will either look like a frown like we have here, or it may be flipped the other way and kind of look like a smile. This shape is called a parabola, right here, parabola. So on this parabola, we have all these things right here that we can figure out about them. The first thing is the vertex. The vertex is either going to be the highest or the lowest point of this parabola. So it's going to be right here. So that ordered pair right there is 0, 9. So our vertex would be 0, 9. Once you have your vertex, you can figure out a lot of things. One of them is the axis of symmetry. Your axis of symmetry is always going to be x equals whatever the x of your vertex is. So our axis of symmetry is x equals 0. Next, 0, solution, root, x-intercept. Those all come from where is the parabola crossing this x-axis. All 4 of those words mean the same thing. You will see all 4 words on quizzes and tests. So we're crossing right here at -3 and right here at +3. So our zeros or our solutions would be x equals 3 and x equals -3. The next part says A with direction. So our A means is it positive or negative? Okay, we can tell that by how this is opening. Since we have a frown here, we know the sign of A is going to be negative. So A is negative, so we're going to open downward, frown. Okay, when something negative happens to you, it usually makes you sad. When you're sad, you frown. Okay, so when A is negative, it opens downward, which is a frown. The next two, max or min, you're only going to have one or the other. It depends on if you're opening upward or downward. We are opening downward, so we have a maximum point. This is the highest our parabola will go. Now, it can go forever downward in this direction, but it's only going to go up to this point. So whatever you have, a maximum or a minimum, that's going to be the y value of your vertex. So in this case, we do have a maximum, and our maximum is 9. Since we have a maximum, we do not have a minimum, so I'm going to put none there. Then the last part is the domain and range. Now, with domain and range, it's been a while since we talked about this, but you have to keep in mind domain are your x values and range are your y values. What's nice about quadratic functions is no matter if you're opening upward or downward, your domain is always going to be all real numbers, because the further you go down, the further you move left and the further you move right. So you're going to end up hitting all of your x values. So for parabolas, your domain is always all real numbers. For your range, your y values, you're going to have a starting point, but you're not going to have a stopping point. So here, we're going to start up here at a +9. It's the highest up we go, and we're going to be everything less than that. Now, since we don't see an open circle right there, remember that also means it could be equal. So we would say our range here is going to be y is less than or equal to 9. We start at 9, and it goes down, less than. The next one we have is a smile. Okay, so I wanted to show you one of each. So for this, our vertex is still the highest or the lowest point, so right here. And I can see that that's the ordered pair 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4. I'm sorry, 2, -4, because we went down below the 0. Our axis of symmetry is always going to be x equals whatever the x value of this vertex was. So x equals 2.